Uncommon is a production by Neuralle, a full-service digital agency. If you want to grow with a premium agency and have the ability to work with Jordan directly, then learn more at neuralle.com/media and request a callback. That's neuralle.com/media.
My name is Jordan Michaelides and I'm your host on a show where we dig deep on unique individuals. If you like the show, subscribe. We would love that. It gives us a lot of support and helps us keep things going as well. You can always give us a nice little like, which is always useful. Show notes are down below, just in the comments section. You can also find a link there in the description. It's neuralle.com/podcast for all previous episodes. If you want to listen to the audio, if you don't want to be watching it on YouTube, you can find us on all your good podcast apps. That's Uncommon Show. You'll be able to find us everywhere. If you want to see behind the scenes with us, what we're doing each week, search Uncommon or at Uncommon_show on Instagram and you'll find us there. But what can I say? Thank you so much for checking us out and let's get into it. My guest this week back on the show is Zoe Demkiw, founder, of course, of Bake Me, Cake Me, and, as I was saying before, McDonald's connoisseur. You've had a look at the questions?
Yeah, briefly.
Briefly?
Sort of got one page and I was like, that's enough.
How is the wrist?
The wrist is improving. I've turned to the fabric wrist brace today because I just think the pink was a bit full on.
But it's very on brand.
It is for Bake Me, Cake Me. The black suits my attire today, so blend that in. And this one is also more appropriate for driving because I shouldn't really wear the brace for driving, the splint, because if I get in an accident, I can actually be sued.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, they're like, you can wear it, but if you get in a car accident, maybe just quickly whip that off.
Interesting.
So I'm like, I'll just have a fabric one, thanks.
Okay. And so we were chatting before in the kitchen that basically you've got pretty much everything that can possibly be wrong with an arm.
Without breaking it?
Yeah, without breaking it. To be honest though, wouldn't you prefer you broke it?
Oh, probably. The pain was that bad, I thought I broke it. I was in tears.
Nerve pain is a different type of pain.
It is different.
A break is like very acute and it's there for like maybe a week. But then after the bruising goes down, it's sort of, you're in a cast or you're in a boot or whatever thing that is protecting it, so you don't really notice it. You just become really weak in that hand. Like all your muscle withers away. But nerve pain. Lauren gets really bad sciatica.
Oh, yeah.
Like so bad that she'll be like crying in the middle of the night if she moves it a wrong way or whatever.
Yeah, it's very painful. And it kind of just comes on at any point. Like I could just be sitting on the couch and doing nothing and there's like this shooting pain.
Yeah.
So, and I've had it before in my mouth as well. Like it just comes on like, I don't know, it's just really random.
Like in your jaw?
Yeah, well, more so with my teeth when I got my teeth whitened. They were like, so be careful of that nerve pain. And I was like, okay. And then I'd have the whitening strips in, whatever, sleep, I'd be fine. And then like get out of the shower, just immediately get this nerve pain that was just excruciating. Yeah.
So were you using like, what's that brand that everyone uses on Instagram?
No, I bought it from I went to my dentist.
Okay.
So I did it, it's just my teeth are very sensitive, so they're like, you can't get the one done in the chair. So just do this take-home one for 2 weeks.
Why do you think they're sensitive? Do you think it's because of all that sugar?
Oh, probably. 100%. As a child, I had like 7 fillings.
Jesus.
I'm surprised these are still intact.
I've still not had a filling to this day, but I do get sensitive teeth. I don't know what it is. It's mainly when I go from like really cold stuff fucking irritates the back of my teeth.
Do you use Sensodyne?
No.
Maybe you should try it.
I'm pretty sure my dentist has mentioned that.
No, Sensodyne is great. So when you are whitening your teeth, you're meant to use Sensodyne to brush it, and that's helped so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonder what's in Sensodyne that is making that. There's going to be some sort of like numbing.
I don't know. It's not that
It tastes horrible.
It's not like you eat the toothpaste, but it's not that. No.
But you can taste toothpaste. How weird is toothpaste? You got a toothpaste job.
I've got a toothpaste job. That's so weird. We're talking about it. Yeah.
Can you talk about it? What's going on with that job? This will be out in 2 weeks.
Yes, it'll be out in 2 weeks. Yeah. No, so it's basically a job for Colgate. It's great because it's my first kind of big corporate job that I landed post coronavirus. So I've obviously lost quite a few clients because of that. Say Universal Pictures, they're
I
my
was thinking about that,
biggest client, but I don't know, when are you even allowed to go to the cinema?
It's a good question. I was thinking about this the other day. That's the one thing I'm really missing.
Yeah, I love going to cinema. Love going to movies alone. It's great.
Yeah, it's going to movies alone, the smell of the popcorn. I think people started to realise that there will be value. Like, cinemas will never completely go away.
But that's great. I love going to a cinema. I don't, like, you can get everything you can stream everything, but I'm like, it's not the same.
It's really not. I've actually been sitting there a lot recently watching Netflix or Stan or whatever other platform, or buying, because we've got an Apple TV. Because I was like, oh, we can buy movies.
Yeah.
We can watch all these movies, but no movies are coming out. And it's just not the same.
Nah.
Lauren's like, oh, fuck. I really want the smell of popcorn here. And I'm like, I don't need popcorn.
Oh, that's terrible. She brings out a popcorn maker.
That would be funny.
Oh, that would be cute.
What about, that'd be a good ISO purchase. I wonder if that's on Amazon.
Oh, my sister has one.
Does
She
she
would have
really?
something like that. Yeah, it's cool. It's a miniature version of what you get at a cinema.
Yeah.
So it pops it out and, like, it's red and
I remember
aesthetically pleasing.
we went to an event. Marty Fox from White Fox Real Estate had an event in Toorak. They were doing there was a Simmons Homes had built a home, like a new modern home in Toorak, just near the village actually.
Yeah.
And they had like this whole opening night, and Porsche Melbourne were there, and all these different groups. And then there was one of the most popular guys there was the popcorn maker man.
Really?
Yeah. And they had one of those traditional, very 50s, 60s looking
cool.
thing. So.
Very cool. Well, yes, back to Colgate. Do you still want to know about what it's for?
Yeah.
So Colgate, I believe they are bringing out a new product that is meant to remove stains for the past, 10 years. So their whole concept was, winding it back to 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So we've, done this whole concept about cakes, that they're kind of winding it back to the top music tracks of 2010, so Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga. So it's kind of got this the cakes themselves they're obviously in the Colgate colours, so they're going to be chocolate mud with very white buttercream, and then they're going to have. I went to my sprinkle wholesaler yesterday and picked all these perfect red and white sprinkles to decorate, and then they're all about this karaoke vibe. So it's not just the cake that these media influencers are being sent. They're being sent the Colgate products, the cakes, a karaoke microphone, a list of the top 10 tracks.
How did that come about? Did they just reach out to you directly?
So no, Colgate obviously went to.
Well, it was a PR.
It was a PR company.
Yeah.
So then I've known. Specifically Amelia, who I spoke to from, I think the PR agency is Stark Matthews. She works for them, and I've known Mill for many years. I feel like I probably met her when I was modelling, to be honest.
Really?
A lot of these people now that I work for or with, it's just from people that I've met over time through modelling.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
It's interesting how that always helps you. I remember some of our first clients were people that... we'd worked with in similar industries, but they were definitely not the same industry. But they just come out of the blue, out of nowhere, and it's fuck. Fuck. And it just goes down to, the power of a network.
Totally. It is the power of the network. And something my dad always told me, that quote, it's it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Dad was always well, it's not who you know, but who knows you.
Yeah.
Because they're always going to be the people that are going to help you.
Yeah. It's a good one. I like that. He was a man of many quotes, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. You love the quotes.
Do you know, I've just about finished... Actually, Lauren just moved all my fucking books. Those are the last books I've got to read on the right.
Yeah.
But I've been building up a list. I remember there was a book that you mentioned that he used to read or talk about.
Zorba
anyway, I've actually never watched... I've never read
watched
that,
it either.
but I've watched the movie. I've never read the book.
Yeah.
So-
I've never done either. I should, because Dad had 4 copies, and I really should.
It's a very, very good movie.
But the quotes are great in that.
I've been looking at books of quotes recently. I've been enjoying that, or old English sayings and idioms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, COVID.
Yep. What do you want to know?
Well, what have we been asking everyone when we did these remote interviews was, okay, we were sort of learning about this thing in January, and I didn't really suspect it would be anything. I actually remember going on a podcast in January and saying like, oh, it'll be nothing.
Yeah.
This will be nothing. And that was mainly because I have a friend whose dad's an epidemiologist.
Yes.
And he's like, yep, this will largely be nothing. But then I don't think we realised like how much China withheld at the time.
Yeah.
And so I remember like wholeheartedly believing him. And he's like, and he told us like a few weeks later, like, we don't really know what's going on here. This is really serious. And I remember when like there was that run on toilet paper, not in Australia, but in Japan.
Yes.
And Hong Kong. And because we'd been in Japan in October during a typhoon, and that had happened. And so I thought, oh, okay, this is really fucking serious. Like, people are taking this really seriously.
Sure, yeah.
So what was that like for you? What was the moment?
So the moment it hit my business, are you saying? Or?
When you really started to take it seriously. Not when it started to, you know, there would have been moments where you thought, okay, yeah, that's understandable. This person's being cautious about whatever. But, like, I remember on that Friday the 13th too, by the way.
Yeah.
The Grand Prix was cancelled.
Yes.
Fashion Week was cancelled.
Yeah.
And the Comedy Fest was cancelled.
Yeah. I think when it first... So I, too, was watching, like, random bits of the news during December, January. And I remember seeing footage of this guy just, like, passing out in China.
Yeah.
And I was like, falling onto the pavement.
Yeah, I remember that
video. And I was like, wow, what the heck's happening? But I kind of just almost brushed it off. I was just kind of like, well, there's nothing happening here, so that's fine. So I still kept working, everything. And then, obviously, the toilet paper thing was just full on. I also was helping my sister move house. So this is my sister who's a GP.
When was what? Oh, yeah.
So they moved into their new place in March, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
so it would have been like early March.
Fuck.
Possibly Feb, but I think it was early March. And Dara, he is an anaesthesiologist. And he works at St V's and all this. And he too was like, oh, don't worry, it'll just blow over in a couple of weeks. Like, this is before they moved into their new place, so maybe 2 weeks prior.
Okay.
He was like, don't worry, it'll blow over, it'll all get contained, like 2 to 4 weeks, it's fine. 2 weeks went by and he was like, this is serious. Like, we do need to, like, shop for a pandemic, like, stock up. So I remember Steph and I were moving this stuff into a new place. Daryl was at work. I'm holding the baby, the brand new baby. The other kids, I don't know what they're doing. They're just, like, watching Peppa Pig or something. And then Mum's helping Steph move all this stuff. Dara comes home with, like, 30 bars of, like, hazelnut chocolate. He's got toilet paper. He's got these water bottles. He's got all this stuff. And
they obviously shop at Coles.
Yes, they do. I think so. Yeah, Coles.
They must if they've got these bottles.
I think it's this one.
Yeah, it's Coles branded bottle.
Yeah, and then I remember Steph said something funny. We're, like, moving all this stuff into the new place and she's like, oh, Dara, you think you could have had some variety with these 30 blocks of chocolate? He just bought all hazelnut, which I thought was pretty funny. It's a good block, but it's like, come on, mate.
You can get sick of it.
Anyway, so he was like, you got to shop. And then it's also, we had that other period where people are like, don't panic shop, don't panic buy. But then you're kind of in this, like, fight or flight mode. You're like, well, fuck, you got to survive. Like, maybe you should panic buy. Anyway, I never really did that. I was then panicked about, then it kind of, a couple of weeks went by and I was like, well, I went to the supermarket, couldn't get any eggs.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. How many eggs are at a supermarket? Like, couldn't get any brown. First of all, there was like the flour was going, then the brown sugar. And I was like, what the fuck? Is everyone just baking now? It's like, that's great you're like doing that, but like...
So this is when you really started to notice, and this is what we were talking about downstairs, when you had to barter for brown sugar.
So I'm just contacting people. I'm like, shit. To all of my girlfriends, I'm like, does anyone have any brown sugar in their house that like they can drop off to me at home so I can use? And like I had so many orders coming through from these like New York City chunk cookies.
Yeah.
So then that's when I sort of had a major freak out about that. And I was like, shit, I've got a lot of pre-orders that I have to get done. Because I also didn't want to let people down. Like I still hadn't had my mental breakdown then. So I was still like running on this like thing. And then obviously the post stopped, delayed. So I drove around one time 200 kilometres around Victoria. Mum was like, Zoe, this is insane. Like you can't go from like Templestowe to, I don't even know where I went. I just went everywhere. And I'm like, nah, I just got to do it. And then by the end, I was like, wow, I really shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I remember when that happened and you had like a post on Instagram on a story about it was like 7 or 8 p.m. and you were like having a Macca's like break for dinner.
Yeah,
and
I always eat McDonald's.
Then you were off to like Berwick or some shit like that.
It was just ridiculous. And then I missed a suburb that was right next door. And I was like, fuck.
Do you know what? Actually, it's really interesting looking at it in hindsight. That is what was happening to you was literally what was happening to the rest of Australia with like the breakdown of supply chains completely.
Yeah.
So first it was the ingredients and then it was shipping. I remember Lawrence and her mum's birthday was in April, start of April. And she sent her a bottle of gin, never arrived. So she had to rebuy another one saying it was closer that could be delivered. Same thing happened with Mother's Day with Interflora flowers.
Yeah.
So the bottle of gin never arrived, but then like literally 2 weeks ago, the gin came back to us.
Right.
So I think, yes, I remember talking to Lauren. It made us very sad to see you so upset.
It was just...
But it was sort of... I don't think it was your fault. I think it was just... when you're in that situation, you don't realise, like, how fucked this situation is.
No, and I think it was very stressful for me, and I'm sure for so many other bakers, because I still get a lot of stuff from the supermarket. And obviously when that was all gone, I was just like, holy crap, I have so many orders. What do I do? And that's when I started talking to Bodhi, who, funnily enough, worked at the same cafe in New York that I did, but I was there 1 year prior. And he hooked me up with this egg supplier. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then I was like, what about brown sugar? Brown sugar supplier? Anyway, and then I got onto... there's such a beautiful community that bakers, especially in Melbourne, because that's where I'm from, but like... we just help each other out. So I was so overwhelmed by the support of customers, followers, buying my product. Obviously it was winter, everyone's stuck at home, they wanted comfort food. So I got all these orders and like, I was so grateful. But at the same time, I just kept taking them on to try and fucking sustain a business. But then at the same time, I had no resources.
No way to do it. Yeah,
I was like, why? That was so stupid.
I remember we ordered some because I said to Lauren, oh, fuck, like this is going to get bad for people like her who are in this. So we were focusing on people and friends that were in the hospitality sort of space and buying stuff. And then I remember you were just like, fuck, I'm just going to give everyone refunds. And I'm curious, in hindsight, do you think that helped? At that moment? It
helped me mentally. Yeah. Like, I looked at the bank and I was like, fuck. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? These people have been so good to me. Some, I did email, so also my system on my online system on Shopify, I could not work out, with the help of my girlfriend who's in this industry, how to email everyone with a remaining order at the same time. So I had to go through every single order individually. And I like to personalise things. So I write their name, I personalise every message. So I said, you have the option of this. So I first said, like, this is what's happening. Launched it on Instagram because that's the first platform I go to. Then I sent them all emails and I gave them the option. Most people said they wanted a refund, which I just had to cop. Like, it's hard because I'm very emotional about my business, but I also had to say, well, this is a business. Yeah. So I just have to give them their refund. And that was fine because mentally for me, I would hate to be waiting for 4 cookies for like 5 months. And also people lost their jobs. It's like, fuck, just give them the refund so they can use that money to, buy some dinner or something. Like, that's fine. So, and then I had some loyal people that are still very loyal and are waiting for their orders. So obviously in New South Wales, I did fulfill quite a few orders. Yeah. But then when I did my wrist, I physically could not make any more. So the remainder 10 orders that I had, I just emailed them again saying, what would you like to do? Some said refund, others were like, we'll wait 2 months, 3 months, whatever. We're happy to support you. So that was really lovely. So I'm hoping when this podcast is released, they have got their cookies.
But that's good though. It's not a 10 people minus a few that got a refund. It's not a massive. It's not as overwhelming as what you probably previously had. Yeah. And it's still.
Oh, there was a lot.
Still brand consistent.
There was like thousands of dollars that I refunded.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, the amount of people now that are left, it's.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And they're also the ones that are like very loyal to my business as well. So I think they're very understanding. But also to the people that wanted a refund, I have no biggie with them. Like that's just business. Like I would also maybe want a refund.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
What did you learn in hindsight? What are you going to change about the business?
So basically last year when we spoke, I sort of had just been doing those chocolate biscuits all the time, which sold really well. But then I kind of became a workaholic and I sort of put my hands in a number of pies or cookies. So I was like, let's do this Colorado cookie, this Insomnia cookie, Zim Zam, Miss Minty, Jam and Wagon, let's do this, like so many different cookies. And I didn't even realise, like, that's a shitload of work. Like, you know, and then I kind of created this pick and mix idea where people can, like, you know, it's like picking you go to a lolly shop and you pick and mix what flavours you want of the lollies. I sort of wanted to do that with cookies. So I did this pick and mix so people could choose, I want 2 of those, I want 3 of those, 1 of those, which was great. But it was just too much work for one person to take on. I mean, I did have my pastry chef last year who was great and he helped me in a really stressful time last August. But he's gone to Sydney and I was very supportive of him going to Sydney and fulfilling his dream and whatever. Yeah. So then it was back to me and I just, worked way too much. In hindsight, I really shouldn't have. Anyway, I did what I did. The past is in the past, but moving forward, I found what my niche is as well. So obviously that's at the moment those chunky cookies, the New York City chunk, which I've been wanting to do since I got back from New York, but it's just like things just get delayed and whatever. And I wanted to do them with a lot of integrity. So I wanted to do them well. I wanted to market that differently. I think before I used to just sort of like be run off my feet and think like, oh, this is a good idea. Let's just put this on Instagram and launch this without really thinking about budgeting, without thinking about the quality of the products. Like I wanted to sort of investigate the best chocolate and the best suppliers and wholesalers and then, you know, really get my packaging like down to a T. And I wanted matte pink boxes and I wanted them to a particular size and I wanted this confetti. And then a lot of people started using the same confetti as me, which is great for my confetti lady. Like she's booming, but I'm like, well, I want a point of difference now. So we've got a custom mix just for me that has no plastic. That's another thing I wanted to change. I didn't want to have plastic anymore.
Interesting.
So I've got the cardboard boxes and all of those chunk cookies come in paper bags with a stamp. And then I have cards that now explain, you know, thank you for purchasing. This is where the story about the cookies are from. This is how you eat them. So if you want to like reheat them, you do it in an oven at 150. If you want to freeze them, you do this. And it's obviously got the ingredients on the back of the card. So I just wanted to really think about how to market that well. And also I'm all about creating like hype around a product launch now. So this is something that I learned in VM with Lauren. And it's all about like experience and creating that hype before you launch. And also what I learned in my fashion career too. You know?
Well, it sounds like really you realised that you need to simplify things. Yeah. And because like I reckon COVID has actually been a really good opportunity for people. Like for us as an example, we were doing like 80% of the work we were doing was video based and then COVID came along and we were doing website stuff and some paid media and maybe social stuff here and there. But we were not advertising for that type of work. And then we realised as soon as COVID happened that we had to advertise for that. We had to get our own supply chain of freelancers and videographers that we use way better because we were just completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even now I'm hiring because I was completely overwhelmed we changed all our processes. We invested in like little software for managing client projects. Like previously it used to just be all done in Google Drive and shit like that. Yeah. Which is good, but like, you know, sometimes it just can become too much.
It does. It really does. And that's exactly how I felt. It was just all too much. And it wasn't until I sort of had this breakdown during COVID, I finally, like last year I thought I reached my limit, but then I just pushed myself a little bit further.
Doesn't the end of last year seem like so naive in hindsight? Like I feel like
it really was.
October, November last year was intense for us.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, it's actually not.
Even December, like for me, like So Easter is probably my busiest time of the year.
Yeah, that
because
makes
people
sense.
are always eating.
Yeah.
So Christmas...
But they want treats.
They want
and
treats,
sweets
whereas
and-
Christmas is still busy, but not everyone wants cookies, you know. People buy other people Christmas presents that have nothing to do with food. So I also... Christmas time is the only time that my family kind of come together from other parts of the world. So I really wanted to have time with them. So I was like, look, I can take on these other orders, but maybe I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I just sort of made the decision to like only make a certain number of things. And I had a lot of self-doubt that like, shit, is this really what I want to do? Like as in, sorry, the products that I launched for Christmas. So I was like, oh, is this the best thing that I can do? And like I look back and I'm like, wow, they were great. Like those gingerbread men looked fabulous. Like I put way too much effort into those. But like I also thought that was a changing point because I remember September, October, I talked to some of my girlfriends and I was like, I'm not in a good headspace. I feel like I still want Bake Me, Cake Me, but it is affecting me in a negative way mentally. But I think this just happens being entrepreneurs. You sort of highs and lows. And
The massive highs and lows, but also because what will happen is you'll start doing a new thing and the adrenaline and the excitement from the new thing is there.
Yeah.
And then it wears off after about 6 months when the consistency
Exactly.
of it.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that's the point where you realise you've got to get other people to be doing that thing. Because
Yes.
I reckon the best job about an entrepreneur is the excitement.
It is, and that's what you needed. So when I was constantly just doing the same thing and also repeating that process in the kitchen, I was like, this is just
Fuck
too...
this.
It's fuck this. It's
Yeah.
like, this is too much. It's like I have to think of all the ideas. I have to do the admin, the social media. I have to actually do the kitchen. I have to do the packaging. Like, thank God for my mum. She's a real queen at the packaging, the tuck shop flip. But I'm like... This is just all like too much. I don't even have time to sit down and think of a new product.
Yeah.
So December, I actually just had all this time to like January, especially because everyone goes away. No one buys cookies in January. It's January, it's my birthday. Also, my birthday is like at a shit time because no one's here. I'm like, I always have a shit, like I don't always have a shit time. It's just like I like to go away for my birthday. So I'm somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because if I'm in Melbourne, it's like, well, I don't have a beach house. I don't go down to the beach.
You don't go down to like Sorrento or Portsea or anything
Yeah,
like that?
like I do go down a bit to Rye and things like that, but only for day trips, really. My family used to get a place in Lawn, so I would always go there. But
hang
Nick's
on,
now living in Venice, so...
You guys had a holiday house in Mount Eliza. Mount Martha, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lauren's parents live in Martha Cove and we'll try to go down once a month. We didn't see them for 3 months because of COVID. So I love doing that, but I actually, apart from that, we don't really go down and stay there because I find that Melbourne just moves down to either side of the east and west coast.
Yeah,
And I like staying away from people during that
You need to
period
get
of time.
away, and it's like everyone's down there.
I think the best thing to do would be just to go away.
Well, that's what I mean. I used to go to Bali all the time. So, like, for 6-7 years, my family would always book Bali. We went for New Year's one year.
What's it like during that time of year?
It was rain season.
Okay, so there's very little tourists.
Oh, no. But I haven't been for, like, 4 or 5 years. But I used to go with my sister, Jackie. She would always get villas and we'd go as a family. And that was the last place that I went with my dad on a trip. So they were like, what do you want to do for your 21st? Do you want a party with your friends or do you want to go to Bali? And we can take like your best friend, we can have the family there. My godparents ended up coming up as a surprise. And I'm obsessed with Romeo and Juliet. Every movie that I watch, I swear, is like a love story in a weird sort of way. But my sister did this whole theme of Romeo and Juliet for my birthday in Bali. And I'm just so glad I took that trip because that was the last time that we were all there together as a family.
Did you know that at the time?
Well, no, because my dad was still fine.
He wasn't sick then?
My dad had a stoma.
That's
bag.
right.
So he had that and that was fine, but it wasn't until, so that was, my birthday's Jan, so we went for like January for like 2 or 3 weeks to Bali, my birthday, and then I came home, worked at my fashion job, and then I went away to America. And then that's when my dad's, his cancer started he got lung cancer.
Right.
Before I left to America, and I was like, oh, Mum, like, and Dad, like, maybe I should stay home. Like, I think you need some help. Like, and Dad was like, no, Zoe, you need to go on this trip. we'll be fine. And then when I came back 6 weeks later, he literally could not walk.
Jesus.
And then we were like, this doesn't make sense. Like, he'd been diagnosed with Parkinson's. But we're like, this doesn't make sense. Like, how can you just go from, like, getting a few shakes to not walking?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Well, he actually had spots on his brain, on the cerebellum.
So it just shows that it had been there longer than...
Well, it is, yeah. So he couldn't actually... he wasn't strong enough for chemo. So when I was away, he was doing chemo and he just was not fit enough and he couldn't cope with it. So then they went back to radiotherapy and that just helped to shrink the tumour. So it kind of went back from... My recollection is it sort of shrunk in the lungs, it shrunk in the brains, it kind of kept shrinking, but it did go back and forth. And then, you know, for the last 6 months, it sort of just shrunk. We went to rehab. I used to go from the hospital around the corner. I used to be at Freemasons quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah, so...
That stuff is super scary. I mean, Lauren's dad had a scare recently.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not a fun... The worst bit about it is the... like all the fucking testing.
Yeah.
Because it takes so long.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how long this stuff can take.
Yeah, I didn't really go, like, I don't really remember. I think I just kept working. Like, I needed to keep myself busy. It was only until, and then when Dad would come home and I'd go with him to his rehab and things like that. But I could really see quite a bit of his depression coming back.
Yeah.
And it was definitely very tough. But I just remember my elder sister, Jackie, especially when Dad was in palliative care, she was like, I'd stopped working. I also was dating a guy at the time and I said, like, oh, you're so lovely, but I cannot take this on right now. It's just not the right time for me. And I would literally just go from work to palliative care, whatever, and then I stopped working after a bit. But Jackie said, she's like, we as a family need to remain strong and positive around Dad. We can't be weak around him.
Outside of it, it's okay, but...
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why at the palliative care at Cabrini, they were amazing. And we used to go in like every week, or like I'd go in there every day, but like every week we'd have parties, we'd bring like little alcohol things, we'd have like, you know, baby pizza one day, we'd have Miss Chew another, like, and we just had these parties with Dad because he was such a character. He used to love entertaining. So even when he was like asleep, we just would go and... Yeah, it was very sad, but you can't be weak at those times. You have to be strong for them.
But also I feel like those moments, like it's better to have as weird as this sounds, it's better to have a relative, I think, having a terminal illness like cancer versus an acute illness that you have no opportunity to have any time with them. Like we've recently, so my grandmother died last year, like early in the year, and she'd had dementia for like 6 years.
Yeah.
So it'd been a long time coming. But my grandfather died when I was like 6. And he died from...
I think I was about the same age as when my grandpa died.
Really?
Yeah.
But it was unusual because...
7 or 8, yeah.
Well, it wasn't unusual. He was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day and he had a heart attack. And he'd had a triple bypass before that. And so anyway, we were documenting his story because he's been covered in this Greek newspaper sort of thing at the moment. And my uncle was just saying, like, it's just really, you know, like for him, it still really upsets him because he was in Germany on a holiday at the time, got a call to say, like, he by chance was coming back the day before, and the day that he landed, he got a call like in the morning to say like Dad's had a heart attack, and he just got in time to say goodbye to him, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he still really it still upsets him to this day.
Yeah, no, I'm very appreciative that we got the time to spend, even those last 6 months, those 6 weeks, whatever. I'm very appreciative we got that time together. We said what we needed to, and I actually knew exactly when he was going to pass.
Yeah.
I have this sense. It happened with my godmother, it happened with my grandmother, and it also happened with my dad. And I'm like, this is weird. Am I like the angel of death? Like, but like, I'm like, I just knew. Obviously, the doctors said you've only got, once he started having the morphine, it's like we've only got 4 more days.
As soon as they start giving.
I just had this feeling that I did not want to go to bed that night.
Yeah.
But I whispered into his ear and I said, I'm pretty sure I wasn't the last visitor, but I think I was the last family member in the palliative care room. And I said, we're all here. We love you. Jordan's here from Germany, Orion's here, everyone's in the room, we've had a party together, and it's okay, you can go to sleep now.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I left and just bawled my eyes out. And then I went to bed and I was like, I don't want to go to sleep because if I go to sleep, I know that I'm going to get the call.
I remember there was, I was saying similar with Grandma last year because it's really awful. The way that they're there in bed and because the doctors start like, what are they? I just remember on her chart it said like no resus, no, they just stopped feeding her and stopped giving her water. And like, because, when someone's got dementia, they start to really deteriorate. Like more than a cancer patient, it's really strange. I don't know how to explain it, but like as an example, she had lost her teeth so many times that it was useless her having teeth. So she had no teeth and it's really horrible.
So awful.
Like the way that you see them versus what they were like is very different.
And it's also similar with all the drugs they're pumping in them.
Yeah.
They have a weird smell.
They do. They've got that medical
smell. And then once Dad passed away, that all went away. And he actually got, because my dad wasn't very colour, he got some vibrance back into his face. And I was like, wow. Like the next day I went back and I was like, he actually looks just so at peace. And like back, he obviously didn't have his hair, but I'm like, he looks like Michael again.
Yeah, he looks like himself.
Like I feel like, Yeah,
it was really, I just remember my dad and I were, they'd give you like a little cotton bud with water and they dab like water on like their tongue and because they're not allowed to give them to liquids.
Yeah.
So sad. But that is life, unfortunately.
It's life, yep. And I'm so grateful. Dad and I had a pretty good relationship, but I was very scared of him for quite some time because he'd just have this anger management issues and I was like, oh my God, I never want to do anything bad that my dad will get angry. But we had a great last 4 years in particular, like when I was 17, 18 to 21.
Yeah, which is good because that's when I say, in a way it's nicer to have a parent have something terminal where you're forced in a way to maximise that relationship versus very sudden, because I feel like people forget when you leave high school and you move out of home, that's like 99% of the time that there's a stat that I've seen, it's like 95 or 99% of the time that you'll ever spend with your parents in your life. And not a lot of people realise that, particularly when you move interstate.
Well, I'm so glad that I only just moved out of home and I'm like 28, but I had those years with Dad in the new Toorak house. Like I grew up in Canterbury, but I had those years, whereas a lot of my siblings didn't because they moved out or my sister moved interstate.
Which is very unusual.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very rare to have that. We're chatting before downstairs about grants and bonuses and whatnot.
Yeah.
Did you qualify for any of the cash flow boosts or government grants or anything like that?
So I think I said earlier downstairs that I accidentally applied for Job Seeker and I'm like, wait, I'm not seeking a job. I have a job. So I am eligible for JobKeeper as a sole trader. That's been very helpful, especially after I had to refund all those people. And because of this, I can't actually work. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you know if you qualify? There was this thing called the ATO cash flow boost. Did you see that?
The 10 grand.
The 10 grand thing.
Yeah, I didn't see that. And someone I know applied for that and got that. And they were like, you should have done that, Zoe. And I was like, fuck, I didn't know. I was too busy with this.
I've been fighting the ATO about it because they're fucking debating some technicality. So I'm still working that out. But I found out about one from the Victorian government the day before it ended, which was so lucky. And it is if you were getting JobKeeper and you own a business and you're in Melbourne and you're affected by COVID, then they had expanded that to give 10 grand to people. And I applied on the morning and it finished at 6 p.m. that night. And I was like trying to tell as many people as possible, but I was also trying to do the application.
What was the date?
It finished on like the 22nd of May or it must have been the 29th because my birthday was earlier that week. Something like that.
Oh, it was just before I came home.
It's just before the end of May. So, and that has helped us buy that camera rig, which is amazing.
Damn it,
Very, very
but that's
amazing.
okay. I'm very grateful for the job.
If you had 10 grand, what would you spend it on?
Wow, it would go straight to rent. Wow, so I live alone in South Yarra and it's good. I love my place. but it would go straight to it.
Will you be working out of the commercial kitchen?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm working now with the Darling Group, and I'm very lucky to be where. I don't want to give away too much, but yes, I'm very lucky to my mentor also that's given me space, and I definitely need a commercial space just for the quantity of cookies we have to make, as I'm also going into wholesale, which I was meant to pre-COVID, and then all that shut down.
That's exciting.
So that was great. I've never been ready for wholesale, and now I'm ready.
Yeah, that is a different whole ball game. You go from, because retail is a lot more volatile, but wholesale is way more consistent, because I'm guessing with wholesale they'd have to order a minimum amount.
You have a minimum amount, and also I'm sort of only stocking a particular group of cafes, it kind of exclusively.
That's even better.
Who I really have worked with in the past, and I really respect and I really love those cafes. So I think I'm not just doing it to sort of, yes, I'm doing it to get money, but I'm also like, that fits in with my brand. I'm always about where Mike's. A lot of people have approached me, but I'm like, nah. I don't know about going in there.
I remember, what was the place in Turak Village that you did the pop-up? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That recommendation, Mystery L Cafe.
Oh, yes.
Really good.
Yes, good.
I had a very weird client meeting there where the guy...
I was like, what is this called?
So the guy lived around the corner and he needed to meet me around that area because I was literally on High Street for a client shoot.
Sure.
And I just wanted to zip around while Lauren was still managing it and come back. And so he walks in, and so this guy has one of the first alcohol-free beers made in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But they look like beer.
Yeah. Are
so
they good?
They're very good. Very, very good. So we're competing for like their social media contract. And he puts down these 3 beers. And he's like, oh, can we open these? And he doesn't tell them it's alcohol. It's just, we're in this cafe and he's plonked down these beers. And I'm like, you should probably, like calm them down because you can get in a lot of trouble for that, licensing-wise. And then he just opens it up. And it just looks like we're slamming beers in this cafe. Oh, yeah, we order coffees and all that. But it was just such a strange meeting. And they asked me afterwards, like, oh, is that beer? I'm like, no, it's alcohol-free beer. And
well, at least it's interesting. The strangest, encounters are generally the most interesting.
They are. But it's a good cafe. I like it.
It is good.
I like
the
the
food's
owner.
really good. I don't even know if I've met... Is he quite...
Older guy with his wife.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like downstairs, Bedgood & Co., sort of another family-run place.
Yeah, is that
I really
one
like them. Just on the corner.
Yeah.
Great little spot.
Yeah. What was the question you asked me before that?
I don't know.
You asked me something and I was getting to it, but whatever.
I can ask you many things about e-commerce and influence and all this sort of stuff, but I'm curious to get your perspective on what's going to happen with the economy. Like, I mean, because you've got a perspective from what's going on in your world, and I guess I'm curious because that sort of, it does fit into hospitality, but it doesn't. It's still like retail e-commerce. It's still baked or edible goods. What are you noticing about how people are engaging you at the moment? Are you getting a lot of demand in comparison to last year?
Yes, so it dramatically increased. Even when would we say pre-COVID?
I reckon pre-COVID is anywhere before Australia Day.
Right, so you think, okay.
Yeah, because this is an interesting point. I had a debate with an insurer and I had to take them to the regulator because they wouldn't pay out our insurance policy because of a wedding in May because they believed it was known by the January 25th. Right.
See, in my business, it wasn't that. It was COVID was like after. So I'm always really busy in Easter, and that was so that was back in. So March was a huge month for me.
So you reckon pre-March?
Yeah. Okay. But March included, so pre-April.
Yeah.
Probably. And then April was like, yeah, I'll keep going, keep grinding. And then I was like, oh, I can't get any supplies. What am I meant to do? Blah, blah, blah. But then I've been out of physical work for about 2 months now. So it's hard for me to say what it's going to be like coming back. I'm confident in my products and in my business ethic and personality that I will still have those contacts and I will still have those loyal customers. I also you know, there's customers that I've lost because they were so pissed off. So you're just going to get those people. So that's fine, whatever.
Yeah. But it's not good. You feel in your heart that it's not going to go to zero.
No. I feel like, if anything, I am like, I had a mental breakdown that came to a breakthrough, and I've been able to reassess my business plan, and I'm just going about it a different way now. And I think you just have to adapt to what is happening. And what I wanted to do before is not necessarily the path that I'm going down. You just have to, you get to a crossroad, and I'm a Capricorn, so I do take calculated risks, I think. And I'm very business-minded, but I can also be a bit airy-fairy and be like, oh, let's go down this track, or like spend this money. And it's like, no, you have to be smart about what you do and not... I'm also quite, I feel like I've got I can be hot-headed, but I can be smart about things and not invest all my money into something.
Yeah.
I just try and go about things at a slower pace, because I also feel like startups, if you invest too early with a lot of money, you can lose that money very quickly.
Yeah, you're done.
It's like gambling.
That basically, like, running a startup, I feel, is like just removing as many risks as possible.
Yeah.
And like some of those risks can be like operational risk, like literally that, or it could be supply chain risk, like moving from one supplier to another, like with the eggs. So it's little things like that. And I agree. I think we've had that too. And I feel like COVID, for at least our generation of entrepreneurs, could be a really good lesson.
It's a great lesson for existing entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
If someone came to me and was like, I want to start a cake business, at any time I would say, really? Do you really want to start a cake business? Like, do you understand how stressful it is? Maybe you should just go work for someone.
Yeah.
Because getting a salary is like, oh, that is a piece of cake.
It is. It's a lot easier.
But then I'd also say, yes, for existing entrepreneurs, it's been a great lesson, and it's actually a time for everyone to slow down.
Yeah.
Physically, mentally, everything, and reassess what you're doing and look at what is selling the most, what is the most important to your core values of a business. And just look at that and see if you're actually on that path. And like, if you're not, then you have the chance to revisit it. But if someone said to me in COVID, I want to start this business, I'd say COVID is a terrible time to start.
Don't
start something now.
Yeah, maybe experiment.
Maybe just in 2 to 3 years, just wait. I mean, this is going to take like a good 10 years to. Yeah. I think
this will be like 2000. Like the recession may be shorter.
Yeah.
In terms of time frame, but the recovery will be the same as it always is, which is typically 10 years.
So I think it's just, and if you want to start something, I reckon just seriously have a think. Like, I still wanted to do a pop-up. I found a great location in Hawthorne, and then I was so excited. But then I went to my mum and she's like, now, are you sure? You've just started paying your own rent. This is another, $300 on top of that rent. You've got to really logistically think about this. So I'm great that I have her, because she sort of brings me down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? The pop-ups, I'm all about the universe and signs and things like that. And I'm like, it's just not meant to be right now. In 2 to 3 years, it will be. I have enough business going on in like the commercial space, the wholesale, the pop-ups that I've got at Top Paddock.
Yeah.
That was a secret, but I'm guessing by the time
we can cut it.
No. By the time it's happening on the 4th of July, so this might be out by then.
It'll be fun.
So I've got that. I've got enough on my plate.
Yeah. I think anyone who's been through this period and has sort of recouped everything and like you said, has reevaluated what you're doing, if you can just focus and break even, and maybe just if you're lucky make a profit in the next 12, 18 months, then you are doing better than the vast majority of people in Australia. I think that there's going to be, like, even in our industry, we are, because we're about to hire, the amount of talent that's available. Like, I think I was reading the other day, like 30% of the big 4 agencies have let go staff.
Yeah.
So 30% of their workforce is now either underemployed or gone.
Yeah.
And they're not hiring any graduates.
No.
So it's going to be, the next 12 to 18 months is going to be tough, but I look at our scenario for both our different businesses and I have a smile internally knowing that at least we'll be okay creating something else.
I think I will be okay, but I'll just have to test it and see what happens. But obviously there's going to be people that are not going to buy because they don't have as much money, and they're not going to buy cookies if you don't have enough money to survive.
But also it's sort of, you should consider this one thing that I was talking about recently with another agency founder. It's called the lipstick effect.
Yeah.
So what often happens during a recession is instead of buying a Celine bag, you may buy some Dior Chanel lipstick.
Oh, yes.
Hence the lipstick effect. So instead of maybe going out for a fancy cake or dinners out or cafes or whatever, maybe you'll decide to buy a nice cake to have at home or cookies to have at home.
And that's exactly why even last year I sort of looked at the business model and I was like, look, this is all made to order, but I'm not going to make a profitable business only doing made to order cakes. There is enough businesses in Melbourne that do that and are very successful at it. I wanted to make a product that is a cheaper product at price point, but still has the quality, the quality, everything that's so it's expensive for the item. It is. So my cookies aren't cheap, but you're paying for that packaging, the branding, my creativity, which also my dad said, do not sell yourself short based on your creativity. There's a lot of people that can make cookies out there, but they don't have the same brain as you. So you've got to keep that into consideration. You pay for everything about it. There's so much love that goes into it. So I just wanted to create some products that were a cheaper price point that the average person can buy, but still think that it's a treat for them and it's very special.
It seems like at some point during all this you're watching The Founder again.
Oh yeah, I watched that every couple of weeks.
And maybe there was a line, there's got to be a line or two in the movie about that.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I would say, yeah.
But his problem actually in the business until it became the McDonald's Corporation was he was too focused on cost cutting.
Yes.
Which actually deteriorated the brand quite a bit.
The brand, and especially with the milkshakes that they had, the sachets.
Oh, fucking, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember, there's like a line at the end
I would never really cut on quality products.
No,
if I can still sell it for a profitable margin, there is no reason that I would ever cut on the quality of my chocolate. Like the chocolate I use is always Calabo, which is the top premium chocolate. Like if you ate a chocolate, they're in my car. You can try some. I've got 15 kilo bags in my car.
Jesus Christ.
But if you tried that compared to say, and I don't have a problem with Nestle because I used to use Nestle, but if you just tried one Calabo choc chip,
it's not the same.
It's just not the same. You have a totally different mouthfeel.
In the Nestle cocoa, I've tasted Nestle versus Cadbury versus Coles home brand cocoa, and they are completely different.
Yes, and but one of the best cocoa powders I've ever used is the Woolworths brand.
Yeah.
And you can always tell by the colour of the cocoa.
Yes. The colour is a very defining thing. I still find Bourneville cocoa's colouring to be the best. It's
I also
sort of darker.
Plasteau.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another one. Anyway, Plasteau is probably a great one. I also use Calabo now in cocoa powder. But if anyone's making a chocolate cake, if you're not making a mud cake and you're just making a normal flour chocolate cake, you always use a very high quality cocoa powder that is a darker colour.
Yeah. To reaffirm on the point that you're essentially making, it's sort of like what is happening at the moment is people are owning more of their business and supply chain. A lot of previous businesses, they would outsource X, Y or Z, maybe the packaging is an example. I think the more that you can own, the price can still remain at a competitive price, but the margin increases and it's still a really good product. And I think that's what we're learning. That's why we bought that camera rig, because over time we'll save money by having that internally, and we get better internally at doing that thing that previously we would have just got outsiders to do it.
Well, see, I've kind of gone the opposite. So now because I've got this problem and for mentally I can't physically take on that amount of work, I do outsource things. Still under the Bake Me Cake Me brand and with pastry chefs and things like that. But it is sometimes I'm selecting it for a person who is very qualified at doing that. It's a good tasting product and I can at least outsource that so I can use my time in the most efficient and productive way somewhere else.
I want to jump into rapid fire questions now that we're just about to hit an hour.
Yeah.
So during ISO, what have you been watching? Netflix. Anything on Netflix or Stan?
Yeah,
or
Stan.
YouTube?
Well, recently I've been watching. Is it called Love Life?
Oh yeah,
that's great. Yeah, with Anna Kendrick.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good. I like it.
It's sort of like a. She goes.
Well, I just love her because she's such a she's a comedian, really.
Yeah.
But it's about literally just her life. She goes through dating different people, and it's just very relatable for me or like for any girl or whatever. I think a lot of girls could relate to that show.
I've seen the trailer for it because we watched The Great.
Yes.
With Nicholas Hoult and Elle Fanning, the younger sister of Dakota.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That was really fucking good.
Yeah.
Very, very good series. So, yeah, we'll have to check out Love Life.
Yeah.
Any purchase that you made pre or during COVID, it's going to be under $200 and has, like, really helped you out?
A rose quartz facial roller.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it is. It was like, so you can buy them in Melbourne for like $100. I found this like beautiful little homeware store in Bundina, and it was like $50, and it's like this brand is called Bopo Women, and I bought the night oil that comes with it. So you're meant to put like a serum on your face so you can roll it. And
what does the rolling actually do?
So the rolling is good for, well, you can do it in two different ways. So you can actually roll it back and forth like a massage, or I use it for lymphatic drainage. So you always do an upwards, outwards motion. And then the night oil just smells beautiful. It's good for your skin, and it helps the rolling motion.
Yeah.
The rose quartz, I'm all about sort of these crystals at the moment, and that I think the rose quartz is meant to be like love. It's meant to be all about love and love yourself and things like that. And it's actually a rose quartz one. So if they're a real rose quartz stone, they remain cold. So it's actually very lovely to put on your face.
It's very calming.
Calming, yeah.
I do like those roller things. That is one thing that women do better than men is not so much relaxation, but
it's just a bit of self-love.
Yeah, like I've always been...
I don't really do it for relaxation. I do it for more like my skin to look good.
I've always had a penchant for like, getting a massage every week or every couple of weeks. Actually, we got, do you know Bliss massages where they come to your house and they do it? It's like an app.
This?
You order a masseuse on an app.
God,
it's so good.
I want this now.
So
Bliss.
I was like, all right,
I'm
going to treat Lauren as well. We'll get a couples massage, and they do it she's set up in the bedroom so we can have the heater on, and she's got her essential oils and all that. And I didn't realise how much I fucking missed having a massage. It had been 3 months since I'd had a massage.
It is so good. When I went to the physio up in New South Wales, I was like, even this is just a massage.
Yeah,
it's so
this is
good.
just good. Just very relaxing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the next one.
Last question for you.
Yep.
What has been like, obviously we've had this unstacking and craziness that we saw on the shelves. What's been sort of your go-to item in the fridge that you've loved during lockdown? And for us, it was chickpeas, tin chickpeas.
Oh, tin chickpeas, Wait, so the fridge in the supermarket or my fridge?
Just your fridge or pantry at home.
Well...
And it can't be something that you bake with.
No. So last night, remember you messaged me? Sorry, I just found this item I found last night when I was in Woolies, and it was this Paul's like chocolate mousse. But I was like, wow, that was so good. It was like $3 for two, and I was like, that's just so worth the $1.50.
So when I was a kid, we could select one treat a week.
Yeah, that was so good. Or Oreos.
Yeah, so...
have you seen my cookie jar?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
I merchandise that like Khloe Kardashian, and I'm like, this is just so... I ate a whole layer a night.
Jesus Christ.
It's really bad.
So my go-to was either Picnic, Oreo, or... is it Yogo?
Yeah, Yogos. Yeah.
And with the choc chips and you... Yeah, that was my go-to thing. But I have not had any of those sort of chocolatey mousse yogurt things in a very long time.
You kind of forget how good they are. They just really satisfy that nostalgic...
Yeah, it's the nostalgia element.
Yeah.
Fuck, that'd be a good idea to make like a luxury sort of moussey yogo thing.
Oh, yeah.
Bake me cake.
Oh, I've got so many ideas with like tiramisu.
Tiramisu would be
injected
amazing.
in these cookies, and just there's so many ideas I've got. It's just I've got new like New York City chunk coming out, and it's just you just have to plan it, because if I get overwhelmed if I've got too many ideas, then I just like do all this stuff, and then it's not really marketed very well, and it's just all over the shop.
You've got to. That's one thing about being an entrepreneur is you're partly creative, and so you're always thinking about new ideas. So you've got to pull yourself back, which is a good and bad thing.
Yes.
Zoe, thanks for coming in. I know you've got to run off and sort out your Colgate deal.
Yes, I've got calls from Bake Boss, mum. There's people delivering, 40 cakes at my house.
Where can people find you on the interwebs?
BakeMeCakeMe.com and BakeMeCakeMe Instagram. They can find my personal one on Instagram, Facebook. I think the Facebook one's the original Bake Me Cake Me, because that is a whole nother issue of someone trying to steal my name, but I have the trademark, so they can't do anything. Yep.
All right, Zoe, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching Uncommon and this week's episode. If you like it, smash that like button. If you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, please do subscribe. We would love that. We'd love to build this audience that we're growing here of Uncommoners. If you want to keep up to date with audio, you can search for us on all of your good podcast apps. It's Uncommon or Uncommon Show. We'll typically find us. For social, you want to see behind the scenes this amazing studio that I'm sitting in, just search at Uncommon_show. And everything will be there, including our weekly promos. But look, thanks so much for stopping by. Until next time, thanks for watching.